There we go.
Zion during 5 years, and um, what would be different tonight?
Yeah, I don't think we're the only team.
So, why do you think this team has had so much trouble with Zion during the last 5 years, and um, what would be different tonight?
Yeah, I don't think we're the only team. I think he poses a huge threat against a lot of teams because of his versatility, being able to attack the basket, being able to get to the free throw line. He's faster than most centers, and he's stronger and bigger than most threes and fours, and so he poses a strong disadvantage. At a lot of different positions, and so we just got to continue to try to show him a crowd. Not let him play free, not let him attack without seeing bodies in front of him. Just try to make him play in the crowd.
What kind of role would John Collins have specifically when it comes to dealing with that unique blend that John has in terms of size and speed?
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it works out, how he defends him, how he guards him. So we'll see. My first time seeing it tonight.
Are you going as an
It's
FA
probably
fan for
continue
Halloween?
with that unique blend that John has in terms of size and speed. And
Yeah, I'm interested to see. Just interested to see how it works out, how he defends him, how he guards him. So we'll see. It'll be my first time seeing it tonight.
And it was probably continue to start tonight.
Yes.
Happy Halloween and welcome into Clippers Countdown as your 2-2 LA Clippers return to Intuit Dome to face the 0-4 New Orleans Pelicans, who, yes, are more than due for a win as they always seem to have that voodoo magic against the Clippers. And when you're 4-12 in their last 16 games against the Pelicans, this isn't Freddie versus Jason. This feels more like Freddie Krueger and Jason Voorhees teaming up versus the Clippers on this Halloween night. Not only do they have a monster masher at the rim by the name of Zion Williamson, but they even have a player named Jeremiah Fears. Not to mention the Clippers are coming off a horrifyingly bad shooting game against the Golden State Warriors on Tuesday, where they shot just 36% from the field and would lose 98-79. Here was Coach Lou post-game on the loss.
Early on in the game, I thought we got really good shots and that we didn't make. And then, we stopped trusting. I thought one pass shot, stopped trusting. But I give our guys, credit. We got down, I think 14-15, came back, took the lead at halftime, and then came out in that third quarter. And I think 32-14 in that third quarter. And we could never get it back, and so Kawhi and James in that third quarter got tired at the same time. So they both, came out, and then it kind of snowballed from there. But like I said, they played well. Defensively, I thought they guarded us really well. We didn't attack the way we wanted to attack, and it made us a little stagnant.
Going to need the Clippers offense to move like Michael Myers is stalking them tonight, because we don't need a nightmare on West Century Boulevard, which is what a loss to a winless Pelicans team would feel like. Tip-off from Intuit Dome between the Clippers and Pels is just about 58 minutes away. Coming up here in our pregame show, we'll have Lauren Rosen on. We'll also go back in time in Clippers Rewind, but up next is your radio voice of the Clippers and Carlo Jimenez. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. On Halloween night, it's the Clippers taking on the Pelicans at Intuit Dome. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Osland. This is Clippers Countdown as we are just 56 minutes away from tip-off. Still to come, we'll have Lauren Rosen on the show. You're going to hear from Coach Lou as well. But right now, join the show from Intuit Dome would be your radio voice of the Clippers and Carlo Jimenez. Carlo, happy Halloween. How we doing?
Whoa, Adam, is that you?
Now,
Shave
I would like
clean?
to say this was planned, but actually, I was trying to shape up my beard so perfectly, and I missed a spot, so then I just had to do away with all of it. You know how it goes.
Yeah, of course.
Baby
Classic
face
story.
Carlo.
You can just own it that you shaved. It looks good. It looks good. It's a fresh cut.
All right, my man, I'm trying. Maybe I got a costume coming up later. My Carlo Jimenez Halloween costume is coming into effect. I had to shave. I'm gonna borrow your glasses a little bit later too.
I got you. I got extra pair for you today.
Let's see if this Clippers team can find a way to get back in the winning column after losing on Tuesday night, 98-79. Up at Chase Center to the Golden State Warriors. Carlo, it was one of those nights where the Clippers did battle back down 15 early to get up at the half, but they simply couldn't hit shots out there.
No, Adam, you texted me post-game this beautiful stat that I'm going to steal right now. The Clippers were 3 for 13 on open threes, which I believe is a defender 4 to 6 feet away.
You got it.
And then 3 for 13 on wide open threes, which means a defender is nowhere near you. It is as described, wide open threes. And the Clippers missed 20 open shots from the three-point line in that game. Sometimes, Adam, it's not your day. Sometimes you have rough mornings. Sometimes you have rough nights. The Clippers had a day for the ages shooting the basketball. I don't expect us to see 3 for 13 on wide open threes again this season. I think it was probably going to be the worst shooting performance of the year for the Clippers.
Yeah, I think it was just about 4 years since a shooting performance this bad for the Clippers. I thought Coach Lue said something interesting post-game. While he did admit they were missing a lot of good looks early, he felt like they stopped running their stuff and too much individual basketball. They weren't trusting the pass later on in the game. Saw a little bit of that as well. We know this Clippers team, they got to move the basketball and play some hot potato out there, but just not enough of that against Golden State.
Yeah, they only had 5 assists in the first half, barely finished with more than 10 in that ball game. They just need to move the rock a little bit more, get everybody involved. Ty Lue talks about it, but this is a Clipper team that plays well when they play together, and they just try to do too much on their own against that Golden State team, especially when Golden State's playing on the second night of a back-to-back. You'd like to see the Clippers move the rock a little bit more, get people in actions, in pick and rolls, and James Harden be able to create with his incredible passing ability. But James had to do everything in the first half, scoring the ball, and then didn't even score in the second half because probably there was a little bit of tired legs after having to put up 20 just to keep the Clippers in the game. They were down 15, able to come back, take a 3-point lead, but could not hang on the rest of the way. What impressed me, though, in that game, Adam, was that the Clippers did come back down 15. Yes, they couldn't get off the mat in the second half, but they took that first punch and were able to respond, which is huge.
Hey, you mentioned it. James Harden really kept him in that ball game, and he's looked good getting downhill overall. This Clippers offense has just looked a little bit up and down so far through 4 games, but we know they could click in at any time, and it helps when you have Bradley Beal back for just his 3rd game as a Clipper tonight.
Could be huge. I mean, you talked about moving the ball on the offensive end. One reason Bradley Beal was brought into this Clipper team is because he can be that 3rd ball handler out there with Kawhi and James Harden and really get the offense going past the rock, attack on the offensive end, be an elite one-on-one scorer while also playing a part of the system. So for Bradley Beal, it's just a big shot in the arm for this Clipper team, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I think he can be equally as good on the defensive side, something Ty Lue and this coaching staff has challenged them to do. I can't use the words Brad used when he described what JVG was talking about for the defensive side, but let's just say he's been on him a lot, especially on his backside. So expect Bradley Beal to be excellent on the defensive side for this Clipper team because you know Jeff Van Gundy's watching with an eagle eye every time.
Before I let you go here, Carlo, in this first segment at least, favorite Halloween candy? I got to get it from you. Come on now. Pressure is on. You saw what the Clippers voted. They got candy corn is last.
I mean, I can agree. That is hands down my least favorite candy. So I'm candy corn is definitely at the bottom of the list. I'd say, Adam, honestly, my candy choices have evolved. When I was a youngin', it was all about Hershey's.
Okay.
Then I kind of got on a Kit Kat kick. I was like, I love the little wafer with the chocolate. Then I went Milky Way. That's always a good one.
All right.
But my favorite candy right now, if you had to ask me, Carl, if you had to pick a candy right now, Sour Patch Kids. I love Sour Patch Kids. I know gummy, no, not really a chocolatey thing, more of a gummy thing, but I'm a huge fan. Adam, what are you and Daniel getting back there?
No, I mean, a little bit earlier today, I had some of those sour belts, those little airhead belts that they have. Yeah, those are really good. And now I'm hoping the Clippers get out the belts tonight here on the Pelicans. Tip-off is just about 50 minutes away. Coming up next, Carlo Jimenez has his one-on-one conversation with the head coach and Tyronn Lue. Happy Halloween. Clippers taking on the New Orleans Pelicans at Intuit Dome and you're listening to the official pregame show, Clippers Countdown, right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Calm down, Jake. Clippers taking on the New Orleans Pelicans at Intuit Dome. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Oslin as we are just about 47 minutes away from tip-off. It's an Emirates Cup game, the first for the Clippers so far this season. More on that coming up, but remember, we got your Back in Time with Clippers Rewind segment coming. But first, let's get back to Carlo Jimenez.
Thanks so much, Adam. Here with head coach Teron Lue before the Clippers take on the New Orleans Pelicans. Coach, 6 of your next 7 games are at home. When you're trying to build team chemistry, what are the advantages of being at home?
Practice time, in your own arena, get a chance for guys to come in and continue to work. And like I said, after the first 4 games last year, I thought, we really played well at home. And so if we can get on a good streak, like I said, at home, going out onto the road would be pretty good.
You guys got 13 wide open threes last game and 13 open threes, and you only hit 6 of them combined. Did you like the process of the offense? Seemed like you were getting good shots.
Yeah, I did. I just thought that, we turned down some shots that we should have taken. Yeah. And then also just continue to trust. Like, if you're making the right pass, making the right play, don't put all the pressure on yourself to try to, do it yourself. And so we just got to continue to try to fight that mentality and just continue to play the right way.
This is a team coming in on the other side of New Orleans that has somebody like Zion Williamson. How do you guard him as a team?
Show him a crowd. We can't let him just play one-on-one and can't let him play in space. Like, we know he's not a great three-point shooter, but, the way he gets downhill, attacks the basket, get guys in foul trouble, we got to make sure we show him a crowd every time he has the basketball.
Last one for you. Brad is back tonight. What do you hope to see from him?
Just, continue to stack days and stack games like we talked about before, and just playing, just seeing his pop, how he moves. Like, he's going to be rusty as far as ball handling and shooting the basketball, but just make sure his movements are really good and we head in the right direction.
Thanks, Ty.
Yes, sir.
There goes Carlo Jimenez with your head coach and Teron Lue as we get set for the Clippers, welcoming in the New Orleans Pelicans on Halloween, who are winless so far. Clippers got to keep them there. Let's make sure they end leaving 0-5. But it's been a tough opponent for the Clippers over the years. 4-12 in their last 16 games against the Pels. Coming up next, we'll get your player to watch. Oh, but before that, we're going back in time in Clippers Rewind. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers taking on the New Orleans Pelicans at Intuit Dome. Tip-off is just about 43 minutes away. I'm Adam Osland. This is Clippers Countdown, the official pregame show of your LA Clippers. Still to come, we'll get back to Carlo Jimenez. Lauren Rosen will join the show as well. But first, we're going back in time in Clippers Rewind. Almost 8 years here to January 28th of 2018. Maze Runner, The Death Cure, was at the top of the box office. Why? I don't know. Havana by Camila Cabello was everywhere on the radio, and the Clippers were in New Orleans.
As Griffin palms the ball with the left hand, extends it from his body, standing straight away from the rim. Tries to get it to Milos with 5 to shoot. Milos gets it left side to Griffin with 4 to shoot. Fires a contested 3, and it's good! Oh my, the shot of the game! 108 to 102.
Blake Griffin, Mr. Big Shot down the stretch to give the Clippers the victory over the Pelicans. He had 27, 12, and 7. And that was his final shot that he took as a Clipper, a dagger 3. Traded the next day to Detroit. Still got a ton of love for BG, Blake Griffin. Hope to see his jersey retired soon at Intuit Dome. But you can check him out now, of course, on Amazon Prime. He's been showing the Clippers some love as well. Coming up next, your player to watch as we get set for the Clippers taking on the Pelicans at Intuit Dome. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Happy Halloween. Be safe out there, Clipper Nation. Hopefully you're joining us at Intuit Dome as the Clippers get set to take on the New Orleans Pelicans. Tip-off is just 39 minutes away here on Clippers Countdown. I'm Adam Osland. Still to come, Lauren Rosen will join the show. We'll give you that injury report. But first,
this is LA Clippers basketball.
Watching this guy play right now is really something.
Players to watch.
You know what I always say? JC saves. I'm talking about John Collins here. They're going to need him against Zion Williamson tonight of the Pelicans. Coach Lou was asked about Collins a little bit earlier tonight by Law Murray of The Athletic. If you were watching on the Clippers Talk YouTube side, you heard that audio, but Coach Lou's interested to see what that different element can bring in this matchup, because the only time under head coach Tyronn Lue that the Clippers have beaten the Pelicans when they've had Zion available was January 5th of 2024. They had Kawhi, Paul George, Terrence Mann, and James Harden mostly guarding Zion in that ball game. I want to see what John Collins can do against him. Don't know how much they'll be matched up, but I would expect a good chunk of minutes between those two, the two most physical and athletic guys out there. John Collins was brought in for a reason for matchups like this. They need help. They are 4-12 their last 16 games against the New Orleans Pelicans, and probably worse than that in the games that Zion starts, obviously. Clippers taking on the Pels from Intuit Dome. Tip-off just 37 minutes away. Up next here on Clippers Countdown, we'll get to that injury report, and then Lauren Rosen, your courtside reporter, will join the show. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers and Pelicans from Intuit Dome. Tip-off is just about 35 minutes away. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Osland. Happy Halloween. This is Clippers Countdown. Still to come, we got Lauren Rosen joining the show. We'll also get to your drive around the league, and Carlo Jimenez will return as well. But first, let's get to that injury report. For the New Orleans Pelicans, no Trey Alexander, no Hunter Dickinson, no Kevon Looney, no DeJounte Murray. Still coming back off that Achilles injury that was ruptured last season. As for the Clippers, Jordan Miller is still out with a left hamstring strain. Yannick Niederhauser is new on the injury report. He's out with a left ankle sprain. Kobe Sanders out with a right knee sprain. But the Clippers have the Pacific Oceans 11, as they're calling them, available tonight, as Bradley Beal was not on that injury report. He's back in the starting lineup for your LA Clippers. Up next, we'll get to your courtside reporter in Lauren Rosen from Intuit Dome. It's the Clippers hosting the New Orleans Pelicans, and tip-off is just 33 minutes away. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers taking on the New Orleans Pelicans from Intuit Dome tonight. Tip-off just about 30 minutes away. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Osland. This is Clippers Countdown, the official pregame show of your LA Clippers. Still to come, we'll get your drive around the league, but joining the show right now is the Rosen one. I ain't talking about Josh Rosen. I'm talking about Lauren Rosen here. Follow her at Lauren M. Rosen on all social media platforms. And, of course, you know her as our courtside reporter. Lauren, good to have you back on. Thanks for doing this.
Oh my gosh, always a thrill to be here. This is my favorite pregame activity, Adam.
All right, let's get into it. I may take this in a different direction quickly. We got to talk a little bit about what happened with the Clippers against the Golden State Warriors on Tuesday. Now, some are equating that game to opening night when they got blown out by the Utah Jazz, but I would actually say the Clippers battled. They were down 15 in that game to the Golden State Warriors early. They got up at the half. They just couldn't knock down shots. They were ice cold. How did you see it?
You know, it's early enough in the season, and I don't know if you're going to love this answer. It might be a bit of a non-answer, but it's early enough in the season that you just can't put too much stock into anything. You know what I mean? We've seen teams go undefeated. We've seen teams, the New Orleans Pelicans, struggling to get their first win. And of course, there are certain things that you can overreact to, and there are certain things that I'm unwilling to. They came out flat, and the shots weren't falling. You're correct. But that's a really good team. That's a really tough arena to play in. And the season is still so young. So my take was, it's not exactly what you want, but it's so early in the season. The sample size is still so small. I got a big bounce back performance from your Clippers tonight, Adam.
Yeah, no doubt. It's just 4 games in. I did like some of what I saw from James Harden. When they did battle back in that ball game, he had all 20 of his points in the first half. James was getting downhill. He was getting to the rim, and even though nobody could hit from the outside, he was still being aggressive out there. I like what we've seen from him overall so far this season.
And you know he's taking this incredibly seriously. He takes every win every night as a privilege. I like his mindset, Adam. We talked about it a lot last season, but he's really come in with the same one. Not just, obviously he wants to win. Obviously there's sort of this mammoth that he's been chasing that he hasn't reached yet, and I know it's driving him. But the mentality that he brings every day, the determination, the work ethic, and the gratitude for being in the space. And I think that's something you get when you have a more seasoned, as Lawrence Frank would say, a more seasoned team. You get a group that's really present and really grateful for every moment. And I've enjoyed watching them live that gratitude for sure.
I think Kawhi Leonard's one of them, just being able to be healthy to start off the season. I almost wonder if it's a culture shock for him to not have to go through an offseason surgery to start the season with this ball club. Some have said he started a little bit slow, but if you look at the 2 games they won, he was fabulous in both of those ball games. So I like what we've seen from Kawhi already as well.
Well, speaking of gratitude, you and I talked about this last time I was on your program. The gratitude he felt to go into a postseason with health is the gratitude he feels to go into a regular season with health. And that's exactly what we were talking about, right? It's a group that feels privileged to be a part of everything that's happening here. And so that from just a psychological perspective, a what drives you perspective, a what's your why perspective, for me as someone that's into all that sort of psychological stuff, has been really cool to look at.
This Clippers team taking on the New Orleans Pelicans tonight. Lauren, I don't know if you have any answers for why this team has struggled for so many years against the Pelicans. Even with or without Zion, Brandon Ingram now is a Toronto Raptor. There's been a different variety of guys out there, but for whatever reason, they have had the Clippers number. I'm hoping on Halloween they're not too scary tonight like they have been in the past.
That's got to be a fluky thing, right, Adam? Not to turn your question around on you, but last year, I remember my first season, of course, with the team and going into these Pelicans matchups and looking at the statistics. The math isn't mathing. What do you make of what's your why for this?
I think some of it is definitely fluky. They've had some inordinate performances like Jonas Valanciunas when he was a member of the Pelicans hitting 7 threes against the Clippers. I remember a couple games later, Coach Lou was asking, hey, what do you do tonight against whoever they were playing? Just to see. It's like, of course he was hot against us and not the next team he plays. So there have been some really good performances, and they probably have built up some confidence against the Clippers just because of that. But the size in the front court with Zion Williamson, who the Clippers haven't been able to match up that well with in the past, everybody has their problems against him, as Coach Lou said pregame. But I'm really interested to see what John Collins can do against Zion, a big athlete like that can also space the floor a little bit, make Zion play on the perimeter on the other end. They haven't had a player like John Collins in this matchup. I think that could be key tonight.
Yeah, changing of the guard relevant on both sides. I mean, I was curious to hear from you. What a whirlwind of a week DeAndre Jordan must have had, right? Like, speaking of new faces and speaking of someone who, of course, didn't know a week ago whether or not he'd be playing in the NBA this season, right? To step in and have a pretty big role. I mean, what a whirlwind that is.
Yeah, DeAndre Jordan, an old friend of ours, of course, still in the league, now a member of the Pelicans. He's only 2 games in so far. But this is somebody who a couple of years ago gave the Clippers all they could handle and then some when he played a game where Nikola Jokic was out for the Denver Nuggets, and he and Reggie Jackson, 2 former Clippers, were able to beat him. And that was at Crypto, of course. So the Clippers have to be aware of everybody out there tonight for this Pelican squad. Speaking of, though, going back to the Clippers side, my player to watch, I mentioned John Collins. I'm going with him tonight because, well, he just is that better matchup for the Clippers against this Pelicans team, and I want to see what they're able to unlock with him. Who do you got tonight in this one, Lauren?
I'm going to go James Harden, Adam. We talked about what the last few days have looked like, and I've talked a lot about how proud I am watching his preparation. And you know that he went straight back into the lab these last couple of nights. You know that he's not going to accept a defeat to a team that this team should be, right? So if that's your voice in the locker room, if that's someone that you know is going to have a couple different chips on his shoulder, I'm looking forward to seeing how he comes out the gate with this one. I think that this is a situation where you just have to avoid playing to your competition, right, Adam? You have to understand what JVG is putting forward with the defense. You have to, Ty Lue talked about trust in the offense, right? Stick to the game plan. And
Yeah.
James Harden, of course, is the straw that stirs that drink.
The catalyst, the system, as we know. Lauren, tell me your thoughts on the Emirates Cup as we get our first game tonight for the Clippers. The court, the pageantry, just what the NBA is trying to develop here and evolve is, I think we're in year 3 or 4 now.
I want to say year 3.
That sounds
and
right.
what I will say is it feels maybe like it's been around for a while now. You know, like this kind of feels like a thing that we do every year. And that, by the way, is exactly what the league wants. You know me, Adam, and you and I talked about this a lot during the finals. I'm a sucker for a switch up on the court. I like when you tune into a game and it looks different. You know that this game is different based on the cues that the league is giving you. I think the Clippers court, by the way, looks awesome. I think the colors match. I'm looking at it right now. The colors on the floor match the colors on the halo perfectly. The feng shui is in here. Again, that is not the question that you asked, but I felt like it was important to say.
It
You got to
is.
come check out a Cup game here at Intuit Dome. But I really like what they've done. I do think that the players are no longer, and I remember I was still in Philadelphia the first season of the NBA Cup, and there was a lot of conversation among players, coaches, staff. What is this? What does this mean? What can we win? What's at stake? Those guys aren't asking those questions anymore. They understand what's at stake, and they understand that winning this cup it's a real thing, and it's a lot of fun, and it's bragging rights, and it's good reps. It's good reps under pressure. I loved, you and I have talked about starting 5. I loved watching starting 5 and seeing how the Thunder took their trip to the NBA Cup final last season really seriously. And you have to imagine that their experience in that situation, in a win or go home situation, it can't not have been helpful in their eventual finals run. So I like what the league is doing here. I like that it's becoming normalized, and I think it's just going to continue to grow.
The NBA and Adam Silver trying to see what they have here with the Emirates Cup. I'm excited for it tonight because there's just a little bit something extra on the line between these two ball clubs, aside from the fact that the Clippers need to get their get back against this Pelicans team, who they are 4-12 against their last 16 games. She is your courtside reporter in Lauren Rosen. Follow her at Lauren M. Rosen on all social media platforms. Please follow her there. Lauren, thanks for doing this tonight here on Clippers Talk.
Thank you, Adam. I appreciate it always. We'll do it again soon.
Coming up next, we'll get to your drive around the league. Clippers taking on the Pels. Tip-off just 22 minutes away. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. This is a banger right here. Clippers taking on the New Orleans Pelicans and Zion Williamson from Intuit Dome. Happy Halloween. I'm Adam Osland. This is Clippers Countdown, the official pregame show of your LA Clippers. Tip-off is just about 18 minutes away here. Coming up next, we'll get back to Carlo Jimenez. But first, let's get to that drive around the league as promised. It's brought to you by Toyota. Work hard and play hard in a new Tacoma. With an iForce turbocharged engine, it's a truck built for the bold. See your Toyota dealer today so we can make it easy. All right. The Raptors were able to go into Cleveland and win 112-101. Now, the Cavaliers were without Jared Allen, Fear the Fro, and Donovan Mitchell in the ball game. They got 29, 8, and 3 steals from Evan Mobley, but not enough as Brandon Ingram had 20 for Toronto, and they would win by 11 in Cleveland. And then late in Philly, the 76ers dropped one by one at home to the Boston Celtics, who got 32 and 6 assists from Jaylen Brown, Tyrese Maxey with 26 points and 14 assists in the loss. The Atlanta Hawks went into Indiana and would take down the Pacers 128-108. Jalen Johnson, who's going to have a big year and was due for one last season before he got hurt, 22-13. 8 assists for Atlanta. And right now, with 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter in Chicago, it's the Bulls up 104-99 on the New York Knicks. Josh Giddey with 28, 7, and 6. Bulls undefeated so far this season at 4-0. Clippers trying to get back above 500. They're 2-2. They're taking on a team that is 0-4 in the New Orleans Pelicans at Intuit Dome. And coming up next, we'll get to Carlo Jimenez, but first, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. It's Clippers Countdown. Clippers, Pels from Intuit Dome. I'm Adam Osland, and it's back to Carlo Jimenez next. Happy Halloween. You're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers and Pelicans from Intuit Dome. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Osland. This is Clippers Countdown, the official pregame show of your Los Angeles Clippers. Coming up, we'll get your keys to victory. But first, let's head back over to your radio voice of the Clippers and Carlo Jimenez. So, Carlo was just talking about it with Lauren Rosen. Do we have any logical, rational reasons why the Pelicans have been this good against the Clippers for this long now with different guys on the roster? It hasn't mattered. Zion, I guess, has been a little bit of a constant, but even he has been in and out, of course, with some of these games, and they still have had the Clippers number.
I think it comes down a lot of it to, Adam, the shooting percentage of the New Orleans Pelicans. Joey Kimball sends us these nice little sheets pregame with stats full of them. And one of the notes here is 51%. And that is the shooting percentage the Pelicans have had in their 12 wins over the last 16 games against the Clippers. They've just shot the lights out. And for one reason or another, they've been excellent at knocking down shots. The Clippers have to be better at defending the Pelicans. If you want to include all 16 games, so include the 4 Clipper losses, they're still shooting 49% from the field against the Clippers the last 16 times they have faced them. That is an unbelievable number on a long stretch that lands over almost 4 years. This Clipper team has to be better about guarding the Pelicans from the outside.
So what's the biggest reason they're currently winless so far this season, which kind of brings this game to being even more of a heightened atmosphere, because you don't want to be the first team to give the Pelicans a win, especially for the Clippers?
No, there's only 3 teams that have not won: the Pacers, the Pelicans, and the Nets. You do not want to give any of those teams a win at this point. Look, the Pelicans are missing Looney, and I'm not talking Bugs Bunny. I'm talking Kevon Looney. They need someone to rebound the basketball for them, Adam. They are giving up the 3rd most offensive rebounds per game. They have the 2nd worst defensive rebounds per game. They can't grab the ball off the rim, and teams are taking advantage with second chance points. They signed DeAndre Jordan and said, "Hey, DeAndre, so happy for you to be here. You're going to be a great mentor to guys. We can't wait for you to be like a coach on the bench. And by the way, you're starting." And I'm sure, wait, what? I didn't start last year in Denver. Now I'm starting games, but nonetheless, that's the situation the Pelicans are in, Adam. They just don't have anybody to crash the glass.
Well, and he's had some success against the Clippers in the past. Of course, a couple of years ago, he and Reggie Jackson were able to take down the Clippers and lead an undermanned Denver Nuggets team to an improbable victory back at Crypto.com Arena. We know Intuit Dome's different, and hopefully it will be tonight against this Pelican squad. Trey Murphy's another guy who's been oh so hot against the Clippers over the past few years, where he's shooting about 46% from 3 against them. So you're expecting at some point the law of averages to swing back in your favor. Same with the Clippers, shooting-wise now from the outside after what we saw against the Golden State Warriors the other night. To me, when you're getting and generating good shots like that, Carlo, you have to stick with it, because eventually the odds are going to flip. And even though they didn't in the second half of that ball game, as long as you are getting open looks, you got to take those shots, or else actually you're digging yourself into a deeper hole.
I couldn't agree more. The Clippers just have to continue to try to find a way to get open shots, knock them down, get to the paint. Would like to see them get to the free throw line a lot earlier in this game, put the pressure. It's already a short interior line. I mean, they'll start probably somebody like DeAndre or Yves Missi, but then outside of those 2 guys, one of them gets in foul trouble. The other one's going to have to play the entire game at the center spot. So can you put pressure on the big mans of New Orleans and really go at that weakness, which is their ability to control the glass? The Clippers have to be excellent there. And then also, Adam, the assist numbers just have to be up. They need to move the rock. You can't have 5 assists in the first half. The Clippers have to share the ball offensively. Don't make it a one-on-one game. Beat the Pelicans with your ball movement. That's going to lead to success. That's why Denver went on a 24-0 run last game for New Orleans. They moved the ball on the offensive end. At one point, it was 29-2. It was incredible the run they went on. And you know the Nuggets. They like to swing the rock. The Clippers have to do that.
Yeah, they went on an incredible run, as you mentioned, in that third quarter, second half of that ball game against the Pelicans. It looks like Missi is in the starting lineup. What's interesting is it wasn't even the Clippers missing from the outside. I mean, Ivica Zubac was missing runners and floaters he typically is automatic with. We saw Chris Dunn miss a layup in that ball game against Golden State. Just fluky stuff. Maybe they got it out of their system heading in now to a Halloween night contest against the Pelicans. But interested to see how the Clippers are able to set the tone out there. And I'd love to see Kawhi Leonard get started with that same aggressiveness we saw the last couple of games, especially against Portland at Intuit Dome.
Yeah, he's been excellent in this building, 19-3 in his career at Intuit Dome. But you talked about it. That quick start against the Blazers really got the Clippers out in front, created some separation between them and Portland, and the Clippers were able to ride that the rest of the night. So if you can be aggressive with Kawhi's Leonard ability to get downhill to attack, knock down shots, get to the free throw line, that would be huge for this Clipper team. I'd also love them to feed Ivica Zubac. As much as Yves Missi has been excellent for this New Orleans team, he is still a sophomore, and he hasn't played a lot of basketball. Didn't really start playing basketball till he was 16 years old and then came over to the U.S. from Cameroon. So the Clippers maybe can take advantage of that youth on that side with Yves Missi, get Ivica Zubac going. Adam, you preach it more than anybody, but if it's broken, find the big man. Big Zoo seems to be the biggest Band-Aid for this Clipper team.
Let him bail you out when your offense is failing you. He is a bucket. He's like that. Also want to see tonight with Bradley Beal back in the starting lineup, back on the floor for the Clippers. His presence or his loss was felt in that game against the Golden State Warriors from a ball handling aspect to also having another 3-level scorer out there when you only score 79 points in that ball game. It's going to be, I think, a sight for sore eyes for this Clippers team to have another offensive weapon like that in Bradley Beal tonight.
And I'd expect Brad to be aggressive to start this game simply because, Adam, in his first 2 games, he really didn't do much on the offensive end. 5 points on opening night, 6 points the second night of the season. Can Bradley Beal be more of that aggressive guard on offense, get the Clippers going? Would love to see him take the first shot when he gets the ball. Take it to the rim, really. Get downhill, attack the iron, because the Clippers need Bradley Beal to average the 17, the 18 he averaged last season with the Phoenix Suns. Remember, Norman Powell averaged 22 points last year for this Clippers team and 24 points when Kawhi Leonard was out. Bradley Beal was brought in to be somebody who could replace the offense of Norman Powell with more of a ball handling and defensive focus. So he needs to score at an elite level for this offense to work. It's a big reason, like you mentioned, they struggled to score the ball against Golden State, just 78, 9 points in that one. So can Bradley Beal get in double figures? He's my player to watch. Yeah, that's right.
Whoa.
I'm claiming it early.
Whoa. Wait a
I'm
second.
thinking
He
Brad
was mine
Beal.
earlier. No, it was John Collins, actually. But Lauren Rosen had James Harden. You got Bradley Beal. I like that. I also would like to see this Clippers bench and another guard pick it up a little bit with his play, and that would be CP3 Chris Paul.
Yeah.
We know sometimes with these older guys, it can take a little bit to get your sea legs to start off the season. Kawhi even admitted to that post-game in the locker room at Chase Center after their loss on Tuesday night. I think obviously CP3 qualifies in that area, but a lot of these guys in the second unit, they can help him out as well with the way he's orchestrating and running the show. Just make life a little bit easier. Maybe set a screen for him to get into the front court, not to have to do so much ball handling as we've seen so far this season. But I expect more from Chris Paul. You know he expects a lot more from himself. We'll probably see it tonight.
Yeah, he is somebody who's really, really aggressive and just a winner. I mean, Willie Green spoke about it pregame. He said one of the things he loves about Chris Paul is that he would have his left hand cut off if it meant he could win a game. He said that's the kind of competitor he is. He is. A very odd visual there from Willie, but I'll take it. It describes what we need to know, that Chris Paul is willing to do whatever it takes to be able to win a ball game. And don't act like that changes now because he's playing a veteran role, coming off the bench, being more of a behind-the-scenes type of guy with his impact for this group night in and night out, the mentorship, the ability to communicate with Ty Lue. He still wants to win games. And so I think you're right on the money there, Adam. Chris Paul is going to want to have a bounce-back performance, not only for himself, but he feels it for the team. He wants to win. It's why, when you're playing against Chris Paul, he's so pesky. He's so annoying. He knows all the rules. It's not fun. But when he's on your team, it's a lot of fun to have Chris Paul in a Clipper uniform.
Another coach out there for the Clippers. He may even get some challenges himself. I don't know if that's allowed by the league, but I think he should. Clippers taking on the New Orleans Pelicans tonight here at Intuit Dome. Carlo Jimenez is on the call. Tip-off is just about 8 minutes away. Coming up next, we'll get your keys to victory. I'm Adam Osland, and you're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Happy Halloween and welcome back in. I'm Adam Osland. This is Clippers Countdown, the official pregame show of your LA Clippers. Coming up, we got Carlo Jimenez for tip-off, but let's get to your keys to victory. Clippers have to trust the pass. You know, sometimes when shots aren't falling, guys tend to try to do a little too much individually. They put it all on themselves to make sure to get buckets, but there's an easier path to victory, and that is throwing your teammates open at times, like your Mahomes or Justin Herbert out there. The Clippers can do a little bit more of that. The ball moves faster than a player, than your man. This is just a team that has to simply move the basketball a little bit more than what we saw in the second half of that game after the Clippers got down against the Golden State Warriors once again on Tuesday night. This Clippers team, they cannot be slow to bring the physicality as well. When they're taking on Zion Williamson, who has been a thorn in their side, and a lot of teams, but specifically with this Clippers team, given the record against the Pelicans over the last 5 years or so, they have to hit first. You got to play with some aggression out there. You got to be in attack mode early on. You got to set a tone on that end. That's the Clippers team that we knew all of last season. That was a top 3 defense. Let's see if they can do it tonight against the Pelicans. They are more than due. Here we go. It's Carlo Jimenez on the call. Clippers and Pels from Intuit Dome on Halloween. And tip-off is coming up next right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network.